Hagerty is the world's largest provider of specialty insurance for enthusiast vehicles and supports keeping car culture alive through youth programs, the Historic Vehicle Association, the RPM Foundation, and more. Hagerty is home to key programs such as the Hagerty Drivers Club, Hagerty Drive Share, Hagerty Valuation Tools, the Hagerty Drivers Club magazine, and much, much more. For more information, visit their website at hagerty.com. PCA Sim Racing is proud to have Hagerty Motorsports as its 2021 title sponsor.
The Ballast Point Entry League Series continues their California tour up to Northern California to beautiful wine country. As we say, good evening and welcome to Podium Esports coverage of the fourth event for the Ballast Point Entry Level Series live from the virtual Sonoma Raceway on iRacing. Hello everyone, I am your host Taylor Burris, and up with me in the producer's booth we have Ryan Bauer using cameras provided by Dougie Beard. We are excited to be here tonight to bring you all the action live on Podium Esports and iRacing.com/live. As always, the PCA Sim Racing Series is brought to you by Hagerty. Since 1984, Hagerty has been the worldwide leader in collector car insurance. Everything they do is geared towards enabling and enhancing the experience of automotive enthusiasts and making sure that the vehicle we all love and the lifestyle that revolves around them don't just survive, but thrive well into the future. Services include the Hagerty Drivers Club, Drive Share by Hagerty, the shop, and much, much more to fuel car culture. Hagerty, let's drive together. We also have to say thank you to another wonderful partner, Ballast Point. Ballast Point is proud to support the PCA Sim Racing Entry League. Just as like the winners raise their trophies at the finish line, Ballast Point too is lifting its trophy beer, Sculpin IPA, to say cheers to all of you. We're all winners at the racetrack with a Sculpin in hand. Ballast Point is celebrating independence and 25 years of craft beer all year long. Cheers to you, and cheers to the drivers in the Ballast Point Entry-Level Series. And as we continue this race, we are here at the virtual Sonoma Raceway, opened in 1968. We are utilizing the historical Cup circuit that has been utilized since the inception till about 2018 before they used what we now see the Indy cars use in current racing. Tonight's race will be 30 minutes long. This 12-turn circuit will provide a lot of opportunities, a lot of interesting racing, and also very great, amazing actions, especially from certain sections such as turn 11, also turn 4, and then also the S's from turn 8 all the way to turn 10. We're going to keep an eye on those great passing and danger opportunities as they work their way through the field for the next 30 minutes. Currently, right now, warm-up is underway. We have 17 cars racing here tonight at the virtual Sonoma Raceway, and we're happy to have you with us here tonight. Pretty soon here, we will be giving the starting lineup as we see Tim Sharrock giving us the onboard camera. Gotta say thank you to Tim for allowing us to see his way of what he's going to be driving tonight. The Gold Coast region driver in that beautiful Martini livery Porsche. In the 924, having a great run. He's currently running inside the top 10 in warm-up. He's going to be starting a little down the field right now in qualifying, as Tim Sharrock will be starting in the 12th position. So keep an eye on him. And there is your point leader and multi-race winner this season, James Frasnick. He has won 3 races so far this season. Will the streak continue? We will find out as warm-up is about to wrap up, and we are about to give you your starting lineup. Your starting lineup will go as followed as we get a double check on the starting lineup. It is going to be your points leader and 3-time race winner, defending race winner, James Frasnick, who will start on the pole with a 110.914. Second place goes to Cyril Bernard, followed by Enrico Gregorato in 3rd position. John Gibson will be starting in 4th, followed by Steve Komatz in 5th position. 6th goes to Charles Fieri, followed by Graham Rennie in 7th. Chris Sari will be starting in 8th, followed by Ronald Malaya in 9th. Rounding out your top 10 will be Brad Boyd. 11th will go to Rob Palmer, followed by Tim Sharrock in 12th position. Martin Gibbons will be starting in 13th, followed by Tom Farfaris in 14th. 15th goes to Jeff Ferguson with Johan Nye in 16th. Vincent Parnell will be starting in 17th, followed by Josh Carson in 18th. 19th is Randy Lervold. Shannon McHugh rounds out your top 20, and riding shotgun with no qualifying time is David Sell. Field lined up behind the iRacing Porsche pace car that will lead them around for 1 lap, and we will get things started here tonight. A lot of excitement going in. We'll talk about the point standing later on during tonight's broadcast, but no pit stops are going to be in tonight's race as the field now starts to pull away to do their 1 pace lap to get themselves warmed up and ready to go. Give you a little bit of a lap guide later on as well to see what the drivers are going to have to negotiate when taking a lap around this historical Sonoma circuit. Sonoma Raceway has been hosting many different sporting events in the world of automotive racing, from IMSA, American Le Mans Series, IndyCar, the SCCA, NASCAR, and other sports car racing series across the decades since opening up in 1968. Field now working their way up to turn number 4. It's a 2-section set for turn 4, 4A and 4B. As they work their way down towards the next set of corners, it's going to provide a lot of great opportunities as they work their way over to turns 5. As they work their way over, it's going to be interesting to see how these drivers are going to set themselves up in order to make the right passing opportunities. Can James Frasnick go for 4 races in a row? He's going to have a tough competition as well. Cyril Bernard and Enrico Gregorato have been strong competitors this season, but will they have enough to take on their points leader here tonight at Sonoma Raceway? A lot of danger zones happening towards the back half of the course. They're working their way through. Turn 10 and 11 are going to be the tricky ones to see where they're able to place their vehicles in the right spot in order to come out on top. We see a lot of incidents in the world of motor racing happening back on this section of the course, especially entering into turn 11. As we see them work their way through the tight hairpin, pace car is off, and we are going to turn these drivers here for the next 30 minutes here at Sonoma Raceway. Barney the Flagman has the green flag in hand, and we are about to go racing here. Lift up a Sculpin IPA. It's green flag racing here at Sonoma. Up the way through turns 1 and 2. James Frasnick has a great run, but trouble in the back. Steve Komatz goes around as he goes through turns 2. He's going to back it into the gravel, tries to wait for cars to work their way through, but it is none other than your points leader, James Frasnick, who pulls away with the race lead as more trouble in the back. Rob Palmer goes around, collecting several more other Porsches. As we see, Frasnick now starts to pull away from the field ahead of the rest of his competition as they work their way through. Great racing action as you're on board with John Gibson as they battle their way down into the rest of the back half of the circuit now. As it's a great racing action. We watch on board. Here comes James Frasnick to come around for the first time here tonight under green flag conditions, as he will lead lap number 1. Great racing as you're on board with James Frasnick. He's going to take a lap here as we go up to the top of the hill through turns 1 and 2. Going to hug the inside. You're going uphill. Multiple major elevation changes on this circuit as you work your way through turns 2 and 3. As you're on board with the Suncoast Florida region driver, your points leader up through turns 4. You're now going downhill, having to be careful to watch out for this wall. As you enter the braking zone, you're going to hug the apex, come right over the curving, but not hit the wall. As you're now entering towards the back half of the course, hit the brakes a little bit. Make sure you hit your marks quite well, hit the apex, and now through the S's you go. James Frasnick having a great run right now through the S's as he hits his marks, as he's approaching turn number 10. Now, normally there was a little bit of another extra set of chicanes on the newer circuit, but not in this one. This is an older circuit. It's through turn 10. And now as they come up to the final corner, the hairpin of turn 11, you're going to hit your brake points right here as you try to hug that inside. Don't hit the tires, as that will cause major issues. And then finally through turn 12, that gives you a lap around Sonoma Raceway. He currently has a 3.2 second lead over Enrico Gregorato. John Gibson sits in third position, but he's in an intense battle with Charles Fieri, who is behind him in fourth, the Potomac region driver. As we see Fieri in the Nuke Cola number 12 Porsche, he's trying to run down John Gibson in that LizardMS.com Porsche, as these two will be battling their way through. Oh, a little trouble. Fieri goes a little bit wide into the grass, but able to save it, continues on his way. A couple drivers are on pit road. That's Steve Comac, Martin Gibbons, and Randy Lerp, who are struggling, had some incidents off track. They will hopefully rejoin the race as they continue on. We are on board with Tim Chirac, who's sitting in 9th position right now as they work their way through. And a great drive for him after starting in the 12th position. Tim Chirac in the 924 Martini livery Porsche, now trying to hunt down Chris Sari in the 14, who's about a second up the road, close to 2 seconds actually, as they approach the back half straight away. As they work their way down through here, you see Chirac trying to hunt him down through into turn 11. A couple of cones been hit. We saw plenty of cones hit at the Auto Club Speedway last round. Let's see if we can have not as many cone fatalities here at this circuit. Presari in the number 14 pulls away from Tim Chirac now by over 3.3 seconds. A strong performance for him. Currently right now you're on board with Rob Palmer, who got a little bit of trouble, but the Oregon region driver has recovered nicely into the 12th position after having some incidents early on, and is now trying to recover maybe a possible top 10 finish now as they work their way down the back half of the circuit. Strong performance. Will we see more great racing action between him as you're on board with Charles Fieri, who's trying to hunt him down here in the closing laps? As they work their way through the circuit right now, a lot of great racing action. Keeping an eye on a couple of battles right now. The battle for 10th is going on pretty strong between Vincent Parnell and Josh Carson. These two are in a tight battle as they enter turn 11. The South Sound Racing 253 of Josh Carson having a little trouble, though, as he hunts down Vincent Parnell in the number 10. You're on board with Parnell, who is trying to see if he can hold off a Metropolitan New York region driver in a strong run ahead. As trouble for Carson, he'll loop it around through turns 1 and go in the middle of the track, has to get out of the way, but I think he makes heavy contact with one Porsche. Don't know who that was. I believe Ooh, that looks like to be Palmer. Rob Palmer makes the contact with him. A tough break indeed for those two drivers as they are going to be out of tonight's race. Trouble for Chris Sorry. He goes off track. That's going to open the door for Tim Sharrock to make up some ground as we see Sorry has to take a cut course penalty for cutting the circuit. This will allow Tim Sharrock to make up positions and move him up to the 8th spot. He comes through turn 10, a nice head of steam coming up for him, and Sorry's going to try to see if he can hold on to the position into turn 11. The gap now is down less than 1.5 seconds, make it now 1.2 seconds as they come out of the final set of corners. Sorry is now starting to regain that time he lost. Tim Sharrock now trying to pull away from the Gold Coast region driver, holds on to that 9th position. This track here is one of the most difficult racing circuits when it comes to beginner drivers in any form of competition because of the wide variety of elevation changes you have to go. You're going up multiple levels of elevation when coming up those first set of corners, and then down the hills you will go before now staying on a little bit of a flat section on the back half of the circuit as Tim Sharrock loops it around but will continue on his way. But these drivers are going to have to pace themselves, know where to put their cars, as well as show a little patience, not wanting to be over-aggressive on the throttle or on the brakes. You can carry some speed in some sections, especially up the hill in turns 1 and 2, as well as through the S's on the back half of the course. But you have to place it in the right areas. Otherwise, you'll end up like some of our other drivers, like the 253 of Josh Carson, who ended up joining the Podium Esports Space Cadets program. Currently, right now, 7 laps have been completed by your race leader, James Frasnick. 21 minutes are about left on the clock, make it 21:49 and counting. 26 laps is the scheduled amount of laps we should see here happening in the next 30 minutes as the field works their way through. You're on board with Cyril Bernard in the number 88, who did not have the best of starts after starting in 2nd position. He runs in 6th. One of our biggest movers, however, goes to the 16 of Jeff Ferguson. Starting 15th is running in 7th position. Another driver, Vincent Parnell, who started in 17th, is running in 10th position. There's the Ohio Valley region driver of Jeff Ferguson, trying to hunt down Cyril Bernard and Graham Rennie as those 3 drivers are working their way through. Ferguson actually working his way around some lap traffic up ahead of him. Those 2 drivers are in a heated battle. That is the 5 of Martin Gibbons and the 11 of Randy Lervold. On board with Martin Gibbons in a very rough and rugged Martini delivery Porsche as he works his way up to the top of the hill, trying to see if he can find a way Randy Lervold to get a position ahead, but also make sure that he can keep Sear or Jeff Ferguson behind him, because that will cause a little bit of issues in his battle for position. Ferguson holding him back a little bit, knowing he has his own race to run as he works his way up, down the hill, and now towards the back half of the course. The new cola machine of Charles Fieri, the Potomac region driver, still in a heated battle with his rival tonight, John Gibson, as Fieri has a little bit of trouble coming out of corner exit of turn 11, but is able to maintain and hold on as Ferguson just got passed for position by Chris Sorry. Chris Sorry gains a spot, move him up to P7, as Sorry having a strong performance even after his mistake. Well, since we're here in beautiful wine country, as we are watching the action here on the track, the battle for 3rd position between Gibson and Charles Fieri, we want to give a little trivia. Here at this circuit, there is actually 2 major motorsports teams that have shops right next to Sonoma Raceway. Let's see if you can name those 2 race teams that are right by the circuit. Just enter the answer in the YouTube chat, and we will let you know and also give you a shout out here in tonight's broadcast. On board now with Cyril Bernard, who's running in the 6th position, trying to hunt down Graham Rennie, who's just up the road in front of him, the 28 Porsche. Having a strong performance right now as they work their way through the field. As we watch and see who will come out on top in this battle for position. Still watching the battle between Rennie and Bernard. Bernard looks to the inside, can't make a stick. That allowed Rennie to pull away a little bit. And as they work their way up to the top of the hill, still some great racing action as they work their way through turns 2, 3, and 4. Up the hill they go to the highest point of the circuit before just dropping like a roller coaster down towards the next set of corners of turn 4. And as they approach there, they're going to hit their mark. Beautiful job by these two drivers as they work their way through the final set towards the back half of the course, approaching the S's. Bernard tries to get a good opening but can't quite make it work. And as they progress through the circuit, hitting their marks left, right, left. Great racing action between these entry-level drivers in the PCA. Of course, Sonoma Raceway has been through a wide variety of modified changes, and it's been great to see the great many of races. Of course, even NHRA holds a race here in the middle of the circuit. As you can see, actually on the iRacing service, you'll see the drag strip. As we watch on the battle here for that 5th position between Cyril Bernard, and also you have the battle for 3rd between John Gibson and Charles Vieri. No challenge for your race leader, James Frasnick, as you're on board with Bernard. Frasnick has a 7.1 second lead over Enrico Gregorato. He was able to get ahead of John Gibson, who sits in 3rd. Charles Vieri about a 1.2 seconds back in 4th position as they work their way through. 11 laps have been completed. Just under 17 minutes left to go on the clock as they watch on board Tim Sharrock. Your onboard in-cam driver from the Gold Coast region is sitting in 10th now after losing a position to Brad Boyd in that number 18. Let's see if Sharrock can find his way up another position. Boyd almost goes around, but is able to gain control of his race car as they work up to the top of the hill. Watching the battles here as Sharrock has another problem. He will let the race leader by of James Frasnick to put him a lap down. Make it 9 cars, soon to be 8 cars on the lead lap. As Frasnick is just absolutely dominating the field. Fastest lap of the race, an 111.045. The next fastest lap, Enrico Gregorato with an 111.450. Nearly 4/10 faster than second place for James Frasnick as they enter into the final set of corners. Just about 30 seconds away from approaching the halfway point of tonight's race. And James Frasnick doing what he has been doing since the start of the season, getting up towards the front of the field, not making any mistakes, and leading this race from start to finish. He had a little trouble at the Long Beach circuit where he lost the lead, fell back to second, but gained the lead after the race leader made a mistake coming to the checkered flag, which allowed him to take home the checkered flag. And then he never stopped and continued to collect victory after victory with wins at Mazda Raceway or WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca and at the Auto Club Road Course that was last week. Field now approaching the back straightaway here, and with that we have crossed over into tonight's halfway point of the race. Of course, tonight's halfway point of the race is brought to you by none other than Ballast Point. Ballast Point Brewing Company, located in beautiful San Diego, California. Ballast Point Brewing Company started in 1996 as a small group of homebrewers who simply wanted to make a great beer, evolved into the team of adventurers known as Ballast Point. A pioneering brewery born 25 years ago within the hallowed, hopped walls of San Diego's homebrew Mart, the complete art of craft swims in the DNA of Ballast Point and informs both what's inside and on the can. From the beginning, bringing a hoppy twist to a porter or adding 4 types of malts to his amber ale, to creating the breakthrough gold medal winning Sculpin IPA, Ballast Point is known for adding its touch and asking if there's a better way. For more information on Ballast Point Brewing Company, including a list of tasting rooms locations, visit their race locations at their website at www.ballastpoint.com. Currently, it is none other than James Frasnick from the Central Coast, Florida region is your race leader. He is leading by over 7 seconds as they work their way through the back half of the course. He is in intense lap traffic right now. That's going to cause the gap to close a little bit between him and his next competitor, Enrico Gregorazzo from the Pacific Northwest region in second place. He's now closing that gap to about 4.1 seconds, and let's see if he can make up the ground in the time remaining. Third place is John Gibson from the Rally Sport region in that beautiful Flying Wizard Motorsports paint scheme. As they work their way through, he has been running third since the start of the race and is in an intense battle with fourth place competitor Charles Bieri from the Potomac region. Charles Bieri in that Nuke Cola Porsche trying to see if he can get a podium finish here tonight. Fifth place from the Northeast region in another Flying Wizards Motorsports livery is Cyril Bernard in the 88. Cyril had a tough break at the start after starting in second, but has recovered to a top 5 run currently. Graham Rennie from the Canada West region sits in the 6th position, a strong performance for him in that Canada Porsche, and let's see if he can work his way up after starting in 7th. Chris Sari is the last car on the lead lap in 7th position after starting in 8th. The Golden Gate region's driver looking to continue another streak of good runs this season. The first car on the lead, 1 lap down, is Brad Boyd coming through a smoke screen of cars as he was able to work his way through. The Hill Country driver has a great run right now as he started in 10th position. Tim Schrock is in 9th, also 1 lap down in the 924 Martini livery Porsche. Such great charred colors to see on the track representing all things Porsche. Tim Schrock, definitely one of those ones. Rounding out your top 10 is Jeff Ferguson from the Ohio Valley region, car 16, as he works his way through in the Wright Motorsports Porsche, working his way up to the top of the hill. 11th is going to be Ronald Malaya from the Hill Country region. Ronald having a strong run as well after starting in the 9th position, lost 2 spots, but looking to recover. 12th is Vincent Parnell from the Metropolitan New York region in that blue and red Porsche. Vincent started in 17th, has gained 5 spots since the start of the race. 13th is Johan Anai, who's having a good run after starting 16th, gained 3 spots. The Potomac region driver looking to see if he can gain a few more as the race progresses. 14th is Steve Comas from the Rocky Mount region. Had a tough struggle at the opening after starting in 5th, and is now running 2 laps down currently at the moment. Tom Farfaris in the Fast Motorsports livery colors with the Upper Canada region, definitely showcasing that here tonight after starting inside the top 15 and 14th, lost 1 spot since the start of the race. Our Space Cadet, Josh Carson, the Pacific Northwest driver in the 253, who recovered nicely even after the incident. He will continue on in 16th. Rob Palmer sits 17th, the Oregon region driver having multiple troubles. Will try to rejoin the track later on. Randy Lerville will move up a position. That's the Pacific Northwest region driver, zone number 6, in that baby blue number 11. 19th is Martin Gibbons from the Recent Total region in a much more rough and rugged Martini livery Porsche, out there on the circuit trying to gain a few more positions before it's all said and done. Shannon McHugh from the Northern Ohio region is in a very intense battle with some lap traffic as she's trying to stay out of the way, as well as race hard in that number 20. And rounding out your field, David Sell in the 71, the Central Indiana driver, having not the best of nights, hoping to see if he can recover. And with that, this concludes tonight's Midway Race Break, brought to you by Ballast Point Brewing Company. For more information, go to their website at www.ballastpoint.com. With how this race is going currently right now tonight, the point standings are going to be as follows for the most part. James Frasnick is your points leader with the 3 wins that he's picked up. Second, Charles Fieri. John Gibson sits third, and one of our in-camera drivers, Timothy Chirac, sits fourth, and he's tied actually with Graham Rennie. And then rounding out your top 5 is Frederick Chin, who is 10 points behind him. So the point shakeup is looking pretty good. It's a runaway right now with James Frasnick with his 3 wins, and amazingly, his average start is second. His average finish is a 4th, which is kind of impressive, even though he's started pretty good in every single race and has won every single race. So we'll have to double check on that. But Frasnick still a very strong competitor here tonight. Charles Fieri also has had some strong finishes all season long. Keep an eye, though, on that battle from 3rd all the way, I would have to say, to the 6th position of Gibson, Chirac, Rennie, and Chin. That's going to be one to see who will end up on the podium in the point standings when this is all said and done. Watching here as Graham Rennie gets around some of the lap traffic here, but it goes a little too wide. That's going to open the door for, I believe that's David Sell in the 71, who tried to make it work. Can't quite make it stick. He will then pull away, and Rennie will try and see if he can hunt down this 5th place car of Cyril Bernard. Bernard, though, is a good 6 or 12 seconds ahead of him as we watch and see if Bernard can hold on to that 5th position. We currently have one driver who might be behind the wall. Nope, he has rejoined the circuit. It's Rob Palmer, who is now rejoining the track in that opinionated purple Porsche number 53. Rob Palmer started 11th, had a strong run at the last round, his debut at the Auto Club Speedway, but here at Sonoma has been a little bit more challenging for the number 53 purple Porsche, as we will see if he can find a way to recover, but it's going to be a long shot here as the laps continue to wind down. Watching now as Charles Fieri has moved up into 2nd position, Enrico Gregorato has fallen back. We're going to see if anyone can get around Charles Fieri. Enrico has closed that gap quite a bit after was running in 2nd, falling back, and now seeing if he can close the gap once again. He's going to have to do it here in the next 6 minutes as they come their way through the back half, of course, through the S's. Gregorato had a strong podium finish last race as we go a little rally racing for Charles Fieri, as he was able to maintain control of his Porsche and still hold on to 2nd, but I'm pretty sure there's going to be some damage to the undercarriage of that Porsche as he has definitely gone sky high, almost joined the Space Cadet program, but not this time, as Gregorato will look to the inside, not make it stick this time around as they come out of turn 11. A little bit of lap traffic in front of him at the 11 of Randy Lervold, who is in the way of the 3 of Gregorato. Still looking for the answer to our trivia question here tonight. The question, of course, is Sonoma Raceway is home to 2 major motorsports teams that are literally next door to this circuit. We're looking for what the name of those 2 teams are, and we're giving you a really big hint. You can't miss it. 2 cars are actually driving those same liveries. We're looking for at least 2 teams. As we watch on here, that is going to be one of our drivers who is working his way through. Enrico Gregorato in that 3rd position, trying to hunt down as trouble actually for John Gibson, who is also in the mix for that battle. He's going to drop further down outside of the top 5, possibly. No, he's going to stay in 5th. Cyril Bernard will pass him as they work their way into turn number 11. Fieri holding off Gregorato as they work their way out. Enrico gets a little bit wide out of the corner, but is able to maintain control. Charles Fieri still pulls away by about 1.3 seconds. No competition, though, for James Frasnick. 20 seconds ahead of Charles Fieri. Of course, the PCA Ballast Point entry-level series will have one more race after tonight, and it'll be next Thursday on November 4th. We will head back at it to the Auto Club Speedway, but a little bit different conditions as we'll go under the lights. As we watch here, Tim Chirac, who is currently sitting in that 9th position right now. Love the Porsche flag, the representation, as he is trying to just hold on and skid his way through these closing minutes here tonight. Of course, that Martini livery Porsche I'll be seeing a couple times this weekend, as this weekend is a very special week for Porsche, as well as it's the Classic 24 happening at the Daytona International Speedway this weekend. And the marquee manufacturer, you guessed it, Porsche. Enrico Gregorato in the Sparco number 3 Porsche trying to hunt down Charles Fieri in the closing minute. 2 laps left to go, looking at timing and scoring, or 2.5 minutes left to go on the clock as the laps continue to wind down for Gregorato to get back into second. He's going to have a tough time, though, as they work their way down the hill. 6 cars are on the lead lap right now. Chris Sari, your last car on the lead lap, who's trying to maintain position and hold on as he climbs the hill in that number 14. But this is the best battle on the track between Gregorato and Fieri, as these two have been battling for the past few laps. Who will come out on top as the time continues to tick? It's a 2-minute warning here at Sonoma Raceway. Who will be able to do this? No timeouts, though. We're going to keep on racing here in these final 2 minutes out of turn 10 up to turn 11. Gregorato has a couple of chances to maybe send it in deep in this corner. He doesn't this time. Hugs the inside, gets a good run-off corner exit. Gregorato really now puts the power down to catch up to the Nucola Porsche of Charles Fieri as they go back up to the top of the hill. A little bit of lap traffic in front of them as one car is off the track in front of them. That's Tom Farfaris, who is in front of them right now. David Sell, who went off the track a moment ago. As Fieri's trying to find the opening, he goes wide through the grass. That opens the door for Gregorato. Gregorato has to brake check to not hit the back bumper of Fieri. Goes on 2 wheels, now back on 4 wheels, now back on 2 wheels. As they enter into the corner, Gregorato looks to the inside. Will he send it? Fieri shows a little bit of defensive driving as they approach through the S's. These two are not going to give up the position easily as Fieri holds on to the position in second as they work their way through the S's. Intense racing action here in the final seconds as James Frasnick takes the white flag one more time around this amazing and difficult circuit. Gregorato has one more chance to try to see if he can find an opening to get around his rival, Charles Fieri. Out of turn 11, working their way through a beautiful exit for Gregorato as they come to the white flag one more time around for these two competitors as they go up the hill once again. Gregorato has a peek to the inside, ducks it in, down, works his way, following suit to Charles Fieri as they come through turn 3. As they approach the top of the hill, it's a good run for Fieri through this section. He seems to be a little stronger. Now can he stay on the black stuff? He stays on the track and works his way up to the back half of the course. Into the turn he goes, has a good run. No trouble for James Frasnick. He's approaching through the S's right now. He still has a little bit of time as we are now watching this battle between Fieri and Gregorato. Frasnick, now through lap traffic, enters into turn 11 for the final time. Ooh, trouble for one driver. That's the 20 of Shannon McCune. He is able to narrowly avoid, but out of turn 11 and out of turn 12. He goes for 4 in a row James Frasnick wins at Sonoma Raceway, but we got to go back to second place as Fieri now has to hold up Gregorato for the final time. He doesn't get the run. Both of them make contact. It's going to be a drag race. Down to the line, more contact between the two. Who will win it as they come to the line is going to be Fieri. No, Gregorato by, I believe that's almost a thousandth of a second between those two. What a drive of that. We're going to take a look at the replay. I think we were at Darlington momentarily for a second. As we see here, Fieri goes wide, misses the corner. Both of them banging doors as they come across the line. More beating and banging. I thought this was a NASCAR race briefly for a moment, but as they come to the line, Gregorato right there just barely beats him for second place. What a race for second. A beautiful run for Gregorato to be able to capitalize on the mistake of Fieri. Well, with that, we are going to give you your full field rundown as the field comes across the line to finish their race. James Frasnick, by over 16 seconds, takes home the checkered flag over Enrico Gregorato, who wins the second place by just over 1,000th of a second over Charles Fieri. Fourth place goes to Cyril Bernard, followed by John Gibson in fifth. Chris Sari comes home in sixth, the last car on the lead lap. Seventh goes to Brad Boyd, followed by Tim Sharrock in eighth. Jeff Ferguson in ninth. Johan Nye will round out your top 10 2 laps down. 11th position goes to Graham Rennie. 12th place goes to Vincent Parnell. Third, 3 laps down in 13th, Tom Farfaris. Steve Komax 14th. Josh Carson in 15th. Randy Lervold in 16th. Ronald Malaya in 17th. 5 laps down is David Sell and Martin Gibson in 18th and 19th. 7 laps down, Shandon McHugh in 20th. And then rounding out your field, 9 laps down is Rob Palmer. And with that, we have our race winner, James Frasnick, with us. James, another dominant victory here at Sonoma. Explain to our listeners here tonight the intricacy as well as the amazing track that is Sonoma Raceway.
I think as soon as my heart calms down a little bit, I think I'm going to go need to drink a couple of those Ballast Point beers after this one, man. It was brutal.
What do you think was the most brutal and difficult part about tonight? Was it the lap traffic that was the biggest concern for you?
I tell you what, without that inverted grid on the practice the other night, I'm pretty sure I would have crashed. Yeah, it's those first 2 turns. I mean, that's it. Coming up that hill, that sharp right, and then carrying speed through that chicane, right after that first turn. The rest of it's fairly easy. I mean, not easy, but it's definitely not as tricky as those first 2.
Well, James, before we let you go and celebrate with a Sculpin IPA, anyone you would like to say thank you to?
Ballast Point for being the sponsor, and just looking forward to the next one and all the other racers.
Well, James, we look forward to seeing you at the next race at Auto Club.
Cool, thanks, man.
That is James Frasnick, your race winner here tonight, as we now go to Enrico Gregorato. Enrico, walk us through coming out of the final 2 corners to the line here in this final race here tonight with an exciting battle with you and Charles.
Yeah, it was a it was a good one. I came into the last hairpin thinking the race was over, but I think Charles went slightly long, and I found a little gap there. Tried to squeeze in there, and we touched. I'm not sure who drove into who, but yeah, if it was my fault, I'm sorry about that, Charles. But yeah, it was a great race.
It certainly was. You won that position by over 1,000th of a second. Very great driving. But as we go back to a track, though, that we were just at a week ago, Auto Club Speedway, different conditions, however, we're racing into the night a little bit. Your thoughts on how this season has been for you racing in the Ballast Point entry-level series?
It's been thoroughly enjoyable. This is my 3rd race, and scoring 2 podiums in 3 races has been amazing. It'll be interesting next week. I've never driven at dusk or in the dark, so we'll see how that goes.
Well, Enrico, before we let you go, anyone you would like to say thank you to?
Yeah, as always, my wife and kids and all the guys at PCA Sim Racing for the great job they do, our sponsors, and you guys for doing such a great job with the broadcast. Thank you.
Of course, that is Enrico Gregorato, who comes home in second place. And we now speak to Charles Fieri, who is working his way. Charles, a very exciting last couple of corners for you. Walk us through what happened.
Oh man, that was just a real heart pounder. So Enrique had fallen back. He did an incident earlier, and he caught up. And I was trying to get around someone for a while, so it just got tight there for a bit. And I don't know, some of that red mist at the end, I guess. But we made some contact right there, but it all worked out. It was a great race. It's a fun track.
Oh, explain some of the favorite points that you have when it comes to racing at Sonoma.
A lot of it to me, I wish I knew all the right turn names, but it's like the elevation change when you kind of pivot the car, like figuring out how to like do that weight transfer and just get it locked in. And also those descending, I guess they're S's, but those are just some fun turns. It's just like a lot of stuff all packed into it. It's really exciting.
Well, Charles, before we let you go and celebrate your podium finish here tonight, anyone you would like to say thank you to?
Just my wife one more time. She's always telling me to get out there and find more pace. So here's to you, baby.
Well, you found some pace indeed. Let's see if you can find even more pace next week at Auto Club. That is Charles Fieri, who comes home in third place here tonight. Well, next week, we will wrap up the season, crown a champion, which I think is safe to say James Frasnick, unless something dramatic happens, will have already wrapped up the championship, but we'll make it official next Thursday, November 4th, at a little after 9 p.m. at the Auto Club Speedway Road Course, but we're racing a little bit into the dark next Thursday night. But don't worry, we're coming right back tomorrow night for Series 7, event number 4. Of the PCA Club and Pro classes as they battle it out in the beautiful Nürburgring Grand Prix circuit. Catch all the action starting at 9 p.m. on youtube.com/PCA Sim Racing as we get ready to see who will come out on top in those events. But with that, it is time to say a big thank you to the steering committee at the PCA Sim Racing. Also a huge thank you to our team tonight, Ryan Bauer and Dougie Beard. And none of this is possible without those behind the scenes at Podium Esports. James Pike, Gary Sexton, Cisco Scaramuza, and John Theodore. We want to say thank you tonight for watching tonight's broadcast of the PCA Sim Racing Ballast Point Entry-Level Series presented by Haggerty Motorsports. I'm Taylor Burris, and we hope to see you tomorrow night in Germany.
Haggerty is the world's largest provider of specialty insurance for enthusiast vehicles and supports keeping car culture alive through youth programs, the Historic Vehicle Association, the RPM Foundation, and more. Haggerty is home to key programs such as the Haggerty Drivers Club, Haggerty Drive Share, Haggerty Valuation Tools, the Haggerty Drivers Club magazine, and much, much more. For more information, visit their website at haggerty.com. PCA Sim Racing is proud to have Haggerty Motorsports as its 2021 title sponsor.